I need to tell you something urgent. You have 48 hours left. Not 48 hours until something terrible happens, but 48 hours to make a decision that could change everything about how you experience the rest of your life. Drop a comment, Bellawand. Tell me what state you're listening from. Because what I'm about to share isn't about creating pressure or fear. It's about helping you understand what this moment right now matters more than you might realize. Here's what you have 48 hours left to do and why waiting longer could mean missing something important. You have 48 hours left to decide whether you're going to keep leaving your life the way you've been leaving it, or whether you're going to make a change that could bring you more peace, more satisfaction, and more genuine happiness. This isn't about making dramatic gestures or abandoning everything you've built. This is about making a simple but profound shift in how you think about your daily choices and what you prioritize in your remaining years. For too long, you've been operating according to rules and expectations that may have made sense. You were younger, but don't survey well now. Rules about what will do, how you should spend your time, what constitutes a worthwhile life. These rules were probably useful when you had career pressures, children responsibilities, and the need to build security for your family. Beautif, you're in your 60s, 70s, or 80s. When you're off, these pressures may no longer apply to your life. Yet, you might still be living as if they do. Still making decisions based on what you think you should do rather than what you actually want to do. Still prioritizing obligations over opportunities, you over desire. What's expected over what's meaningful to you. The challenge is that many people don't realize they're still following outdated rules. They've internalized these expectations sadly, that they seem like natural laws, than choices they can question and change. They feel guilty when they want to say no to social obligations. They feel selfish when they prioritize our own interests. They feel irresponsible when they choose pleasure over duty, even when their duties are largely self-imposed and no longer necessary. But these feelings are based in programming that may have outlived its usefulness. When you were building a career and raising a family, it was appropriate to prioritize duty and responsibility. When you had people depending on you for their basic needs, it made sense to put their needs first. But when those circumstances change, thorough can change too. When you have more freedom and fewer obligations, you can afford to prioritize your own preferences and well-being without neglecting anyone who truly needs your care. The problem is that making this transition requires conscious choice. It requires recognizing that you have a permission to live differently now than you lived when you had different resposed. It requires giving yourself credit for the decades you spent meeting obligations and taking care of others. The 48-hour deadline I'm talking about isn't arbitrary. It's based on something I've observed about them in psychology and behavior change. When people recognize that they need to make a change, they usually have about 2 days of clear motivation before doubt. Fear and old habits start to reassert themselves. This window of clarity and motivation is precious because it's when change is most possible. It's when you can see most clearly what isn't working in your current life and what might work better. It's when you have the energy and courage to take action despite uncertainty about the outcome. If you act within 48 hours of recognizing the need for change, you're likely to follow through. You'll take concrete steps that create momentum and make further change easier. You'll prove to yourself that change is possible and that you have the power to direct your own life. But if you wait longer, you're likely to talk yourself out of it. You'll start thinking of reasons why change isn't possible or practical or appropriate. You'll convince yourself that your current situation isn't really that bad that you don't deserve to prioritize own happiness. The voices of doubt will get louder. The old habits will feel more comfortable. The idea of change will start to seem risky and unnecessary rather than exciting and liberating. So, here's the decision you need to make in the next 48 hours. Are you going to continue living according to other people's expectations and old rules that may no longer serve you? Or are you going to start living according to your own genuine preferences and desires? Let me be specific about what this might look like in practical terms. If you've been saying yes to social obligations, that drain your energy just because you think you should. You have 48 hours to start saying no to things that don't bring you joy or serve any important purpose in your life. If you've been neglecting activities that interest you because they seem frivolous or unimportant to others, you have 48 hours to start making time for things that genuinely engage and energize you. If you've been maintaining relationships that consistently leave you feeling diminished, frustrated, or drained, you have 48 hours to start setting boundaries that protect your emotional well-being. If you've been living in a way that prioritizes everyone else's comfort and preferences over your own, you have 48 hours to start treating your own needs as equally important and valid. If you've been postponing injections or purchases that would bring you pleasure because they seem extravagant or unnecessary, you have 8 hours to start investing in your own happiness and satisfaction. If you've been accepting living conditions, daily routines, or lifestyle choices that don't really suit you just because changing them seems like too much trouble, you have 48 hours to start making your environment and schedule work better for you. This isn't about becoming selfish or irresponsible. This is about recognizing that you've earned a right to live according to your own values and preferences. You've spent decades meeting obligations and taking care of others. You've proven your responsibility and your commitment to the people you love. Now, it's time to prove your commitment to why.